6 p.m. in Kembong, that's in the Manyo division of the southwest region of Cameroon, same time in Douala, Cameroon's economic capital city. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining Equinoxe television on our primetime newscast. We live from Douala, Cameroon's economic capital city. As we told you, now in our top stories tonight, even when agriculture is presented as the backbone of Cameroon's economy, farm to market roads remains a major issue in key agricultural sectors in Cameroon. With the case of the Coupe Maningoba division, we shall be presenting to you what farmers and local inhabitants go through several years after the independence of the nation Cameroon. Drug consumption affecting the performance of kids and breaking the effective and smooth functioning of the teaching and learning process. It is a reality in the Far North region of Cameroon. In this edition, you shall see kids involved in drug consumption in school milieu. Also, in this edition of the news, we shall be taking you on the war in the Middle East and just the impact on the global economy. These stories and more will be yours. Thanks for choosing to be informed by Equinoxe. You're on to the primetime newscast on Equinoxe television, live from Douala, Cameroon. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for making the right choice to be informed by the best of television network across the nation and the Central African sub-region. Now we're starting with one of our top stories. Cocoa farmers in Yandong, is locality in Babogo area of the Coupe Maningoba division, that's in the southwest region of Cameroon, say that farm to market roads remains their major challenge even when the area is predominantly an agricultural zone. They have been crying for years and are now accusing political actors of playing over them in order to get their votes, even as elections are fast approaching. They are calling on local stakeholders to pass their voices right up to authorities in Yaoundé so that their plight can be heard, as they now pay huge sums of money in order to get their goods from the market to the farm. We have details in the following report.
The main road connecting Yandong to Babobok is an absolute nightmare. The area is situated in the Bangem subdivision, Coupe Maningoba division of the southwest region. Residents here are mostly cocoa farmers who struggle to transport their farm produce to the market. This is because trucks cannot navigate this road and farmers are forced to rely on expensive alternative transport methods like motorcycles, often called Okada, to transport their cocoa. Farmers spend at least 25,000 francs to transport a bag of cocoa to town.
At the expense of the farmer.
The ugly nature of the road has not only caused a hike in cocoa transportation fare, but has also cost the lives of some locals who died on the way while they were being transported to the hospital.
At times we carry patient for reach hospital, we need to be on tidy for road because of the bad road.
They almost lost a patient last week who was seriously sick and was unable to mount the bike, but thanks to the timely intervention of neighbors, he was transported to the hospital. Pregnant women as well deliver on their way due to the bad nature of the road. However, construction works has started on another part of the road but has not been completed, and according to sources, money has been allocated for the rehabilitation of the Yandong-Babobok road, but since then locals are yet to see the realization of the second phase of the road.
When minister been come here, minister Elonpo been come, the same way you said they launch that road, all will promote. For can be the launch, for the launching with the road. After Christmas, we will be expecting the road will start. The machine, the way they been for road, all they disappear. We don't know what's that machine.
The people of Yandong and Babobok can only hope that the government will address their worry as soon as possible so that economic activities in the area can be revived.
We also told you in our top stories that concerns are rising over a deteriorating school environment in the Mayo-Chanaga division of the Far North region of Cameroon. Drug abuse, failing academic performance, absenteeism, and indiscipline among pupils and students have prompted women groups in the Orotada area of that administrative unit, with the help of the government, to engage parents, educators, and community leaders in seeking lasting solutions. They say that kids in the area have indulged into drug consumption that is badly affecting the teaching and learning process. Innocent Ase has more in the following report.
In several primary and secondary schools in the Mayo-Chanaga division of the Far North region, the deterioration of the educational environment is raising serious concern. Drug consumption, declining academic performance, absenteeism, and indiscipline are among the troubling trends weakening the school system. They move with harmful objects in their bags. We need to put an end to this deviance in the school milieu. To address the situation, women's groups from Orotada, with the support of government partners, assessed the parental monitoring guides and tools designed to promote academic success. Parents, education officials, and community leaders were brought together to examine the causes of this worrying trend. With all the bad attitudes of children, we decided to draw the attention of parents to do proper follow-up at home. At the heart of the discussions was the lack of proper supervision of children. Participants called for stricter parental monitoring, increased awareness campaigns against the drug use, and stronger collaboration between schools and families. If the parents fail to do proper follow-up of the child, they will never know what the children are up to. Teachers must also be in permanent contact with the parents. Another issue raised was the social environment. Some informal businesses located near schools are accused of facilitating learners' access to harmful substances.
Ces enfants-là, au lieu de venir à l'école, se retrouvent quelque part en train de prendre de l'alcool, en train de jouer aux cartes, et j'en passe. Nous sommes dans un département qui est paralysé par les sécurités.
Instead of these children learning in the classroom, they stay in bars, drinking alcohol, smoking, and gambling. In a region with alarming insecurity, these children become vulnerable. The discouragement among many people and students faced with persistent unemployment affecting some graduates.
C'est ça qui empêche les enfants d'être motivés. Les banques d'emploi. Ils voient leurs grands frères qui ont les licences, qui sont en train de chômer dans les quartiers, ils sont en train de faire les mototaxis.
When these children see the elderly ones with certificates roaming around the quarter, doing nothing or ride bikes, they get discouraged to go to school. Therefore, they consider schooling as a waste of time in a country with chronic youth unemployment and the future of Cameroonian youth.
On to politics. Political figure Anise Kane will be buried on April the 25th, 2026. This information is contained in a press release issued by the African Movement for New Independence Manidem political party. Anise Kane died in police custody on December the 1st, 2025 in Yaoundé. Babila Jonathan spoke with an official of the Manidem party and now tells us more in the following report.
Information on the burial of Cameroonian politician Anise Kane is becoming clearer following the release of his body to both his biological and political families. The corpse had been kept under judicial custody for more than 2 months.
25th April 2026 is the date chosen by Manidem and the family to bury Anise Kane. And you can realize that many other precisions have not been made as far as this burial is concerned.
Details of the burial program have not yet been officially announced.
We like here to assure Cameroonians that before the D-date and maybe the forthcoming weeks, the activities that will be organized in order to march to really accompany this burial will be set up and you'll be informed. All Cameroonians will be informed. As I earlier said, we want this funeral to be inclusive, to have put all Cameroonians together, and to believe that we should give our leader a befitting burial.
The question of where Anise Kane will be laid to rest also remains unresolved. Reports suggest he had expressed a wish to be buried in Bafoussam beside the grave of Ernest Wandie, the nationalist fighter who influenced his political convictions.
The place where he will be buried is not a concern for now. We quite believe that the will of President Ekane will be respected. So the last will of President Ekane will be respected, and where he wanted to be buried, he will be buried there.
Meanwhile, several opposition figures and human rights defenders continue to criticize the government, insisting that the politician's death was triggered by his unlawful detention in inhumane conditions.
The United States has designated the Sudanese Muslim Brotherhood as a foreign terrorist organization due to their violent attack on local civilians and also their ties with Iran. And onto sport, the Iranian football female players, 5 of them have sought it for asylum amid a diplomatic crisis sparked by the U.S. President Donald Trump's warning against their forceful repatriation. We have a foreign news roundup with Lo Manyakro.
Following the elimination of the Iranian women national football team from the Asian Cup in Australia, a major diplomatic crisis has unfolded centered on the safety of the players. Under the tournament, which coincided the US and the Israeli airstrike on Iran that killed the supreme leader Ali Khamenei, the team faced intense scrutiny after initially refusing to sing the national anthem. While the team was defeated 2-0 by the Philippines on Sunday, 5 players successfully escaped the delegation and currently under the protection of the Australian Federation Police in Brisbane, where they have sought asylum and met with Australian Minister of Home Affairs. In response to the situation, US President Donald Trump issued a stern warning to the Truth Social, labeling any forced repatriation of the team and stating that the players will likely face the death upon their return. Trump urged Prime Minister Anthony Albanese to grant the women asylum, offering to welcome them to the United States if Australia fails to act. As the Australian government coordinates in response, the international community remains deeply concerned for the players' safety, particularly following the report of the state-mandated coercion regarding the public conduct during the competition. On Monday, March 9, the United States officially designated the Muslim Brotherhood in Sudan as a foreign terrorist organization, accusing the group of receiving significant support from Iran. This designation, set to take effect on March 16, follows the broader American crackdown initiated in January against the several branches of the Muslim Brotherhood, especially in Egypt, Lebanon, and Jordan. According to the State Department, the Sudanese branch has deployed rampant violence against civilians to undermine peace efforts and promote a violent Islamic ideology, reportedly contributing over 20 fighters to the conflict in Sudan. The State Department further alleged that many of these fighters received training and logical support from Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps. Washington has specifically accused the group of carrying out mass execution to civilians in territories under their control. By applying the FTO classification, the U.S. government can now implement rigorous financial and administrative sanctions, including the freezing of assets, the prohibition of all transactions with the group, and a total ban on its members entering U.S. territory.
And don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. On the second part of news, we shall be having royalty. We shall be having an opportunity to understand the decision of Cameroon's Ministry of State Property and Land Tenure to include traditional rulers in the process of acquiring land titles in Cameroon. But just before that, let's take this information in sports to say that several cases of resignations and sackings have been recorded in some Elite 1 and 2 clubs of the Republic of Cameroon. Clubs like Stade Rennais of Melon and Feuve Azur of Yaoundé will start the next phase of the Elite 1 Championship without their coaches, while Racing of Bafoussam will be without their president, who resigned. Simat Njikangere has more in the following report.
With the Elite 1 Championship on a break due to the camp organized for some home-based players eligible to join the senior men's football team ongoing when it will resume come the 14th and 15th of March 2026, Some clubs will continue the season with new faces in command. Stade Rennais of Melong will resume with a new coach, Emmanuel Ndumbé-Bosso, on their technical bench. Emmanuel Ndumbé-Bosso takes over from Sulemanu Abubakar, who resigned as coach last weekend. Fouf Azou Elite of Yaoundé is another club that will restart their adventure in the Elite One Championship with a new trainer, Theodore Ngachu, who was appointed by the club president to replace Olivier Nankam, dismissed for poor results, will have a huge task to maintain Fouf Azou Elite in the championship next football season. Fouf Azou currently sits in the last but one position of the Elite One League with just 2 wins and 6 defeats in 8 matches played. In the Elite 2 Championship, André-Marie Kouache has stepped down as the president of Elite 2 side Racine Football Club of Bafoussam. According to the president, internal squabbles, destabilization campaigns and threats against him and his properties were some of the reasons that made him to step down. He also said health issues and pressure from his family were some other reasons which made him to throw the towels as president of Racine Club of Bafoussam. André-Marie Kouache is stepping down at a time when Racine Football Club risks being relegated into the West Regional Football League next football season. Racine Football Club of Bafoussam is the first from the bottom in Pool B of the Elite 2 Championship with just 4 points after recording 4 defeats, 1 draw and 1 win in 6 matches played.
And that's all for the first part. Stay with us for talking points. On talking points, we are receiving Michael Druka Bende. He is the Prince of Soleil chiefdom in the literal region of Cameroon. With him, we're going to be understanding just how traditional rulers received the decision of the Ministry of State Properties and Land Tenure. Now, first, Prince, thanks for accepting to be guest on Equinoxe Talking Points tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Armstrong, and you're welcome. Thank you for welcoming in your program.
Interested in just knowing, working closely with your father and royal stakeholders of Soleil, how did you receive this information from the Ministry of State Properties and Land Tenure to involve traditional rulers in a procedure and process to acquire land titles in Cameroon?
This was a very good decision. The ministry, Mr. Riyebeaisi, is a very great person with great vision, because in any society is the traditional society who can help a modern society to put in place the best rules to control, if not population, but put in place the best solution to manage people. So this decision concerns land, putting in place the traditional authority in front. I think this will help the administration to prevent crisis now concerning the problem of land, because the traditional authority is the one who knows his territory, who knows his population, who knows the main proprietor of the land or the false proprietor of the land. I think all of us, traditional authority, we have to work on that. We have to take care of this measure and this decree, this decision put in place.
Now, do traditional rulers clearly understand what they are expected to do, especially at the time that people say there's going to be some mix-up between the laws in Cameroon and just what guides the acquisition and ownership of land traditionally in different areas in Cameroon? So do you people actually understand what role you are supposed to play in this for effectiveness?
I think the ministry will help us to well understand how to manage it, because all traditional authorities don't have the same comprehension, the same vision, the same intelligence. So we have to put in place seminar, we have to put in place conference to help us know what the administration needs for us, and how we can put in place the good solution, working hand by hand with the administration to attain this best objective.
Your village, called it a chiefdom, Sole, is well respected and it has been successful, growing to become a cosmopolitan area. Some call it a town already in the Kam division, the Littoral region, and Cameroon at large. Now tell us, what has been the secret to the success story of Sole?
Our success is only presented in one solution. A traditional authority is a father. And the work of the father is to bring all his children around himself. It means that when you receive many persons coming from many directions, you have to take them like a father. You have to hear all their complaints, all their difficulties, and all the good things they have. And now you know how to put in place a good platform of exchange, of discussion. Because, you know, problem occur because people don't sit and discuss. People don't sit and exchange how they can solve it. So in Sole, we receive many tribes coming from everywhere. We succeed to put in place a dialogue. The dialogue is very, very important. And behind that dialogue, you have to be credible. It means that when you are a traditional authority, your word, if you say yes, your word should stay yes. If you say no, your word will stay no. When you put this in practice, the population trusts you like traditional authorities. They follow what you are saying because they know that, okay, we have a traditional authority who is fair, who understand everybody. We don't close the door of the dialogue. So this is our solution in Sole.
Watching a report on Equinoxe television, I noticed just how cosmopolitan Sole is becoming, with so many Cameroonians from the northwest and southwest. Call them Anglophones. They feel comfortably settled in Sole. How is that being managed, and what has been pulling them to Sole, and what is that thing that is making them to feel this comfortable at a time when most of them were forcefully displaced from their regions?
The Anglophone, I don't like to use this word. I prefer the Cameroonians who speak English, because I'm not very okay with the word of Anglophone. We are Cameroonians. And because we are Cameroonians, when we hear that one of our brother is in crisis, the first thing, and what our parents show us is that when somebody come and knock your door or come in front of you broke, the first thing you have is to receive him, is to give him water, to give him place to sit. And this is what we have done in Sole. Because when the crisis occurred in the northwest and southwest place, those our brothers came to Sole, and we receive them. We give them land where they can rebuild their life, and many of them are rebuilding their life because most of them have plantation, more of them build school to help their children to follow, to continue following their education. Now,
you, as one of the traditional authorities, or a traditional authority of Sole, should be very keen on just how traditional rulers will have to play a role in the decision of the ministry, considering that so many people coming to your village at the same time. It means far different problems with different characters, attitudes, perceptions, and mindset. Now, what are some of the problems that the locality is facing, especially with the influx of Cameroonians from different regions?
The main problem we have is that, when a population came like this, this increased many difficulties. And the difficulties we have is, first of all, the education. When people move, you have children. That children have to be educated. So we have in Sole a lack of structure who can really take charge of the education of those children. Now, I don't have any problem with private school. My problem is that the school fees of private school are not the same with public school. So I need the administration to help us put in place public structure, educational structure who can help parents who don't have money to educate their children. So we have a CS, thanks God for that. We have a CS, a bilingual CS. Now we want that bilingual CS to become a lycée. Why not? This will help those who are past the DCE to continue follow, because the second cycle. So here you place to the problem of the health facilities. No, our health center don't have the good capacity now to help people who are sick or who have injuries and those that. So we need public administration to mention that because of the increasing of the population, this acts or this brings automatically the necessity to increase to the health structure, educational structure, many structure who can help, even security, because if you are 5 in the village, one policeman or gendarme is sufficient. But when you have 100, you have to adapt or to put in complement the security to help that. Okay. So this is the point I can say concerning this subject.
Even though very big, Sole is currently under the administrative unit, Yabasi subdivision of the Camp division of the Littoral region. Dear Prince, where do you see Sole in the near future?
In my dream, I want Sole to become, I saw Sole coming a subdivision. And Sole have the infrastructure to become a subdivision, and the human capacity, we have it in Sole. So I invite the public administration to come and visit Sole. This is the vision I have to Sole. I think the head of state will, this approach, putting in place that he want to reorganize the administrative, yes. I think Sole will be a lucky village.
That's interesting. Good luck to you guys there. Now, it's also important to understand what relationship, or what's the nature of the relationship between Sole and the administrative authorities in Cameroon. Please kindly tell us on this at a time when focus is on Sole, with so many persons coming, with much expected from Sole by the local population.
I have good relationship with administration. I profit to this standard to present them all my due respect, all the respect. All time when Sole have difficulties, administration are there to help us solve those difficulties. I think to the governor, Iva Hadibois, who every time we came in front of him, he answered, and he answered very, very well, protecting our interests, protecting our territory, protecting our goods. So now with the local administration, we don't have problem too, because we are collaborating with them. We are working with them. Now, like us, I like to say is that teeth with tongue, they are inside the same mouth. Sometimes teeth can hurt the tongue, but it's not that they have problem or they are enemies. Not. It's just that in relationship, even if you are parents, even if you are boss, even if you are the authority, sometimes the relationship can be calm, can be tense, but finally we collaborate in good ambiance.
An interesting one there from the very bilingual Prince Michael Drula Mbede of Sole. It is a chiefdom in the Yabasi subdivision of the Camp Division of the Littoral region. Now, immensely royalty. It was a pleasure having you on Talking Point. Thanks once again. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much too.
And ladies and gentlemen, to you too, we say thanks immensely, urging you to stay in the company of interesting programs on your #1 television network, Equinoxe. Our next edition of news will be in the French language. That will be at 8 p.m. As for me, rendezvous is taken for tomorrow, same time, on same frequency. Stay connected, stay blessed, stay with Equinoxe.